Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Five Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Thank you so much for joining us on the Five Star Revolution podcast. Go over to Facebook right now and join us on Facebook, Five Star Revolution Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. Tonight, we have a very special guest. He's from Ohio Valley Wrestling. It's Josh Ashcraft. How you doing tonight, sir?
CJ, I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem, man. I really appreciate your time for being here tonight. It's really a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
I see that Razor Ramon thing on your neck.
Yeah, very, very similar, man. I've always had a weird thing for razor blades and brass knuckles, switchblades, all that type of stuff. Just like the typical thing that you'd see a bad guy use in like a cartoon or a comic book. And when I was kind of coming up with my Easton Villain logo, I remembered a pair of dangle earrings that I bought at Hot Topic in like 2002 that I snapped the earring piece off of because they were double-sided razor blades. Started wearing it as a necklace. So one of my ex-girlfriends thought she liked the idea of the logo that I had, and she found a place online and got me one made. So it's kind of my good luck charm almost.
So this is before Scott Hall's passing.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 5-6 years now. I mean, obviously, Scott Hall had it way before me doing the razor blade thing. But at the time I started doing it, nobody was using it, so I figured, well, he had the single edged razor blade, and I went with the double.
So do you use that in your gimmick somehow?
It's just kind of like a little signature, like a little calling card thing. Everybody kind of knows me for it. It's kind of unique. Going back to Scott Hall, like the toothpick that he would always have stuck in the corner of his mouth. I'm rarely ever seen without this thing.
So this
But
is
it is pretty sharp on the edges, so you might want to keep your distance. You see me take it off, there's trouble coming.
So this is an icebreaker that I usually do to every single person that comes on my podcast. Is I ask
Okay.
them, were you a fan of pro wrestling when you were growing up as a kid? And if so, who were some of your favorites?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I started getting into wrestling in the mid to late 90s. So I will be 36 this year. Uh, so right around, Attitude Era was really fired up and rolling around 96, 97. You had the Monday Night Wars, all that stuff going on. And I was drawn to it. People like, Mick Foley, people like Shawn Michaels, people like Raven, Sandman, Dreamer, those types of guys. Was never really a huge WCW fan until later years where I'll go back watching things and pick up little gems. But, I always watch stuff like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and all the cruiserweight stuff they had going on at the time. My buddies would always tape bits and pieces of Nitro and we'd sit around and watch them back on VCRs, kids. Those were a thing.
Yeah, I remember the VCRs, man. So you watched Attitude Era, which was one of the best, if not the best era in professional wrestling history. And you like guys like Stone Cold, Mankind, guys like that. And you were not a big WCW guy. Neither was I, but I did get into it when NWO was a hot commodity.
Oh,
I
sure.
think, yeah, I think I got into it when Mr. Perfect got into NWA. Mr. Perfect was one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. So yeah,
Oh, yeah. Good choice. The
yeah,
man was smooth as silk in the ring.
he's great, man. It's a shame he never became world champion.
Yeah, you've got that club of people that have never held a world championship. But when you think about it too, the way that they're spoken of in such high regard as people, that have been multiple time world champions sets them apart. People like Roddy Piper, who's no longer with us either, one of the greatest to never be world champion, but still he's spoken of, which, with such reverence that, I mean, a championship belt, he didn't need one. Same with
Same,
Perfect.
yep. Same with Owen Hart. Same with British
Yep.
Bulldog. Guys like that. So yes, there's a huge list of guys that deserve that belt. Nowadays it's just like hot potato. Anyone can win the belt.
Right. And sometimes it's nice to have that feeling of you never know what's going to happen. Holy crap, so and so just upset, this guy for the world championship. I never would have seen that coming. Those are always, that's always something nice to have, where that random title defense on Monday night or, Wednesday night or whenever you're watching, um, and somebody out of the blue just, wins the championship. If they're on a hot streak and you don't see it coming, those surprises are nice, but you're right. There's no need to like hot potato the belt, the championship. Pardon my language, Doug. If you're watching, don't kill me.
Same thing where not the same thing, but that's why I like AEW because most of their title reigns are long title reigns, which makes me believe in the title. Like the title actually means something.
The championship should always mean something. I mean, the championship is what you strive for. If you get into this business, the championship means more money. It means more prestige. It means more press. It means there's more relying on you. You are the head, the face of the show, the company. So, a championship belt is a championship title, rather. Pardon my language. We don't like to use the B word. Trying to drum that out. The championship titles are what you go after. It's that status symbol.
So let me ask you this question: do you think the championship makes the wrestler, or the wrestler makes the championship?
The championship is always going to have a prestige on it. The championship is always that standard that you want to reach. However, to answer your question, I think the wrestler makes the championship, because look in the past at some people that have been regarded as quote unquote world champions and fell flat, couldn't get the crowd to respond to them, couldn't get any momentum behind them. Didn't matter if they were champion or not. If they weren't making it, there was, there was nothing there for them.
I
Does that make
totally agree.
sense?
My friend. Yeah, I totally agree.
Dope.
100%. So let's skip ahead here in your life. Where was that moment where you said, I want to do this? I want to become a pro wrestler?
Uh, Mick Foley won the WWF Heavyweight Championship, and there is a packed arena full of people chanting his name, and he's being held up on the shoulders of, believe it or not, DX at the time. And I'm looking at him going, okay, this guy, this kind of weird dude in a mask and brown tights and like a collared shirt that's all torn up, that doesn't look like a wrestler, so to speak, not 6'5", jacked and tan and vascular, but he looks like a dude. Okay, if he can do that, I can definitely do something like this. I want to be a part of it. It hooked me. That energy hooked me. And then going to, the OVW shows when I was a fan, um, way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, like getting to see the people like Cena and Orton and Lesnar and all them come up through OVW really instilled kind of a local pride in me, that this was my hometown. This was a company based in my hometown. This was somewhere I wanted to be. So I would have to say watching Mick get paraded around by DX was pretty cool, and something that definitely stopped me and caught my attention.
I think I know what you're talking about where Mick Foley won. It was an episode of Raw where they spoiled it on WCW Nitro where Tony Schiavone said, that'll put butt in seats.
Yep,
Everybody
yep,
changed the
that night.
channel, and that's where WCW died.
Yeah, because I remember some buddies called me and they're like, "Hey, dude, you need to switch over and turn this on and watch this." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, I'll click over and see what's going on, and sure enough, here we are.
So watching that inspired you to become a pro wrestler.
It inspired me to be in the business. Yeah, like initially I wanted to be a wrestler, but then I realized I didn't have the genetics really for it. Um, but I can run my mouth. I know how to talk, and I can be somewhat charismatic. So hey, there are other things. There's announcing, there's managing, there's all kinds of different stuff that I can do. It's like I tell people that want to break into the wrestling business right now, when they say, hey, what advice would you have, or this, that, and the other? I tell people, look, realize that there's a very, very slim chance that you are going to be standing on, the standing in the middle of the ring at the end of WrestleMania with a referee holding, your hand in the air with the championship belt. That's rare air. Not saying that you don't have that opportunity or that possibility, but understand that if that's not the direction that your path's going to take you, it shouldn't take you out. There are plenty of parts of this business where we need good, educated, well, spoken people that can help the next generation of talent come through, or be, that great camera guy that was in just the right place at the right time to get that shot, like Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off the ladder at WrestleMania, that's been replayed billions of times. Like that guy in that role, if he wasn't there, if we don't have these types of people, if we don't have these types of roles in the wrestling business, we're wrestling in the dark, man. No one sees it. Doesn't matter how cool your move is. And I think people that have a passion for the business, that want to be wrestlers, that maybe don't have the opportunity or the physical, traits that are required for it, shouldn't let that passion die out. They should find other areas of the business where they can, thrive and prosper.
100%, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. Everything you just said, 100% perfect. So, when you want to become a wrestler, obviously you did a little bit of research. How did you find out about wrestling school in your area, and how did you get into it?
So coming across OVW in wrestling magazines in the back of the old PWI, like you see the PWI 500 list every year. Well, every month they had a magazine that would come out. And in the back, they would have the results from all of like the developmental territories and the quote unquote indies. At that time, it's probably around 2000, maybe. Oh, no, it was earlier than that, 99. I came across OVW. In the magazines, didn't really know what it was. And then I'm flipping channels one night, and there it is on TV. Here it's a local wrestling thing, and I was hooked. And then doing some research by, you watch the commercials. Internet was just really kind of starting to get big around, 2000. Everybody had it. And you start reading here and there and finding out about things. And I wish I would have taken the leap right after high school, when I graduated in 2004. But it took me a few more years before I finally got my foot in the door and, started working towards where I am now.
So, what were your first impressions when you first started training?
This hurts. This hurts a lot more than people think. It hurts way more than it looks on TV. You hit the ropes wrong. You mess your kidneys up. You might hit them wrong too many times, wind up pissing blood. Take a back bump. You learn to tuck your chin real quick. Otherwise, your head's bouncing off the canvas. And that, that everything we do hurts in some way, shape, or form. Sometime, if it doesn't hurt now, it's going to hurt later. You take a million bumps in practice and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm getting used to it. You never really get used to it. You're just, punching holes in your bump card that you're going to feel later on in life.
Oh my God, I couldn't agree with you more, bro. I used to wrestle in my area in Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts. And I
Okay.
did it for 10 years, man. I did indies for 10 years, every weekend with no breaks. I only took one break because I got injured for 2 months. I took a 2 month
Yeah.
break, but I don't really consider that a real break because I was forced. But anyway, I'm feeling it
I
now,
feel
brother. I'm feeling it
Yeah,
now.
so you get it. You wake up and you're like, you got to get out of bed, and it's like, why does everything crack and pop when I stand up?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
why? Why does it hurt to go up and down stairs? Oh God, why? But it's because we do this, and I think people understand now more that the bumps you take in training, you don't always have to take a bunch of bumps. Like, I just had a conversation with somebody the other day, and this is a completely true story. I love the fact that wrestling video games give you the ability to go through and craft a move set, because the people that are doing the mocap for these things, one of which used to be Mike Mondo, who I love Mondo to death. Mondo was a great, great person, man. But Mike Mondo would come back and tell me, like, yeah, we'd run these spots and like the real crazy stuff. There's no way anybody could ever do it. And then you start watching these games and you see how well and detailed this mocap is. You know, you can pick out like, oh, hey, that's an easy bump to take. Like, rather than go in there and drill it 100 times, here, I want you to watch the fluid motions of this. Okay, now that you've kind of got the timing down and you can walk through it a little bit, let's get in there and do it. You've watched it a million times in the simulation. It's just like any other type of simulation training. Rather than trying to figure it out as you go in the ring, hey, let's try to slap it together in a video game and see if it works first.
So to piggyback off that stuff that you said, wrestling hurts and stuff, I want to know what your
Yeah.
opinion is on what people think when say wrestling is fake.
um, I just read John Moxley's book, and he in his intro actually talks about this. People pay their money to come in and sit down and watch a show. They can say whatever they want. However, when they call it fake, just like anybody else, I dare somebody to get in there and do what we do. The best way that I can describe it is, if it's predetermined that I know what's going to happen. The only thing that's fake about wrestling is the finish. Al Snow has said that a million times. The fact that I'm going to get in the ring and I'm going to willingly lay in the middle of the ring while a 350-pound man frog splashes me from the top rope, that I'm willing to lay there and take that risk, or I'm willing to take the risk of getting my neck broken by getting dropped on my head from something by accident, or, possibly injuring myself or somebody else. When you explain it like that, and you explain that what we do is full contact stunt work, live action stunt people with no nets and no padding other than, elbow pads, knee pads, but that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is, you tell them that and you say, go fall down on your floor 150 times and get up and tell me how fake this is the next day. Because they just assume that everything's it's a trampoline. It's mattresses that we're landing on.
I
Like,
wish,
no, dude.
I wish.
I wish. God, I wish. Like, I love everything about the ring at OVW, except for the fact that some of that padding is so hard because it's been there forever, dude. Like, that stuff does not get softer over time. It does not get worn in.
So let's get into the character, Josh Ashcraft. I'm sure
Yes.
people that are listening to us right now that don't know who you are want to know what the character is all about.
So, the mastermind of mayhem, as I've been dubbed by our lead commentator, Brian Kinnison, I'm the Easton villain, Josh Ashcraft. I'm that scummy Weasley dude that's going to run his mouth and talk shit because he knows that he's got these really big dudes standing behind him at the bar. And the minute you step up and say something stupid, I'm just going to slide behind one of them while they sucker punch you. I'm that Weasley little prick that everybody knows. I'm that dude that's somehow, some way associated with every friend group that just runs his mouth constantly and you want to headbutt. I guarantee somebody out there knows someone like that. Like, you're not sure which friend he really is. Like, did he come with you? Did he come with you? Who'd he come with? Like, how does this guy know everybody? Like, I'm going to punch him. Somebody who brought him. I'm that guy. However, I was also head referee for OVW prior to becoming a manager. So I can use my expertise of the rule book to bend them to the point of breaking them, if you know what I mean.
So what'd you like to do better, referee or managing?
I've done a little bit of everything in the wrestling business in the 11 years that I've been doing it. So I've done refereeing, managing, commentating, wrestled. I run. A lot of people don't realize this. I'm in charge of making sure that all the stuff at OVW, the facilities, the ring, the stage, all that type of stuff, I'm in charge of making sure none of that falls apart. And I'd have to say that my favorite thing to do is manage. But commentary is an absolute blast. I like to be able to sit there and describe what's going on for people at home, find analogies and find ways to explain why a hammerlock hurts. Most people have never been put in a hammerlock in their real life. But it's real easy for you sitting on your couch at home watching TV to put your arm behind your back and then try to reach up and scratch the top of your neck. Now imagine a 275-pound man trying to pull your hand to the back of your head. You'd be yelling in pain too, wouldn't you? Things like that. That's fun for me. Managing though is where I really find my enjoyment.
So basically, you're a jack of all trades in this business.
Jackass of all trades, yeah.
So are you ready for our challenge, my friend?
Oh, what's the challenge?
I do this to every single guest that comes on my podcast. You're going to be no different. The
All
challenge
right.
the challenge is to cut a promo in character for 30 seconds on anything you want. Do you think you can do it?
For 30 seconds, cut a promo on. Yeah, I can do that.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, brother. Let's see. Here's the problem that I have today. Right now, I'm sitting here, I'm looking outside, and I'm looking at this beautiful sunset that's going on, but I'm wearing a hoodie. And it's spring. It's supposed to be the first day of spring here in Louisville, Kentucky, but the weather, as always, cannot make up its mind. What's it going to do? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to rain? I don't know. Neither does a weatherman. Why is he getting paid lots of money for just guessing? I can look out the window and do that. But that's beside the point. The reason why I'm so upset about this beautiful sunset and this back and forth weather is that, this upcoming next weekend, it's going to be WrestleMania weekend. There's going to be a WrestleMania watch-along party at the Lexington Harley-Davidson that I'm going to be a part of. I'm going to be a part of that. It's going to be amazing. I'm getting to guest host, and it's going to be lovely. The problem is Kentucky weather. We never know. Is it going to be nice? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to rain? No one can tell me. So once I figure out where this Mother Nature's at, and I can break in to whatever stupid hovel cave she's staying at, get my hands on her and tell her, look, I've got plans coming up. I don't want you messing up any of this. So we're going to have nice and sunny. We're going to say like 73, so like low humidity because the Ohio Valley, dude, it's terrible. It's horrible out here. But low humidity, nice little cumulus puffy clouds in the sky, and a bright, sunshiny, beautiful day in Kentucky. That's where I'm having my issues. So, Mother Nature, if you're listening, if you can hear me out there, I'm coming for you.
That was pretty good, man. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I filled 30 seconds, didn't I?
That was more than 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, see, that's the problem. You got to give me like a hand cue because that's my issue. I'll just keep rambling on.
No, that's fine, man. This is your show, your time.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing about promos, man. Like, it's what I tell everybody. Just pick something and just start going. Start talking. Find ways to tie it into various things. The more that you do that, the easier it is for you to be able to think on your feet later when you have a better idea of what you're going to be talking about. I had no idea you were going to do that, and I literally just looked to my left and went, all right, well, I'm going to talk about the weather real quick. I can be an asshole and talk about the weather. That's easy.
that was pretty good, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, a couple more questions. You've been in this business for 11 years now. I'm
Yes,
sure you have at least one funny road story or backstage story that you can tell us.
Oh, man. Okay. I got a good one. So we were doing the spring tour last year for OVW. We're doing a loop of Kentucky, hitting all the different fairs and whatnot. And give me a second here. Sorry, it's a little shaky. We're hitting all the fairs, and one of the very first stops on the tour, we're down in like Hazard, Kentucky somewhere. Place is packed. It's outdoors. Beautiful day. AJ McKay, our ring announcer, gets into the ring. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you please stand up, we're going to pay tribute to our first responders and law enforcement around the nation. And everybody stands up, takes their hats off, and we're going to play the national anthem. We do it before every single show. Music guy, it was his first night. He'd never done it before, didn't know any better, hit the first thing, and instead of playing the national anthem, it starts playing Shotgun Tony Gunn's theme song, which starts off with a shotgun racking and somebody screaming Shotgun Tony Gunn. Very extended on the gun part. As everyone's standing with their hands over their hearts, we're like, what the? Cuts it off real fast. AJ goes, well, that's obviously not it. Well, it became a running rib backstage at some of the house shows for the rest of the tour that whenever Tony's music would play, I'd try to find him and I'd stand nice and rigid and still, and almost like I'm standing at attention as he comes walking by, and he's like, "Dude, I hate you so much." So I'd get him right before he's going through the curtain, and I'm trying to get him, like I'm trying to pop him right as he's getting all amped up for his entrance. I hate you so much, Ashcraft.
That's funny, man. That's really funny. That's something. So you mentioned that you used to watch OVW as a fan. How is it? How does it feel to come full circle now to be as a performer there?
It's amazing. It really is. Like, if you had told me when I was in high school that I was going to be the guy that was in charge of, having keys to the building and maintaining some of the facilities and the ring, and I'd have all that, trust and responsibility put on me, and then flip that around and go out and get booed out of the building every time I go out there with, me and the legacy of brutality, or the fact that, I'll be in the history books alongside of the LOB because we are the longest, and it's cemented now. We're the longest reigning combined and consecutive OVW tag champs, Southern tag team champions in history. And now that we have retired those belts and we moved forward with just the OVW tag team championships, that's signed and sealed. So that to me is humbling, and it makes me want to work twice as hard to do everything that I can to give back as much as possible, because I was that kid sitting in the crowd one day wanting to do this, and now I've been able to go as far as I have and do a lot of really cool things that I've done thanks to wrestling. So, that's really neat.
So my last question for you, Mr. Ashcraft, is what's next for you? What's the next 3 years looking like for you?
Hmm. Well, the legacy of brutality has been slowly but surely disappointing me more and more, and I think I might have to start looking around for new talent. You never know where my eye is going to fall, but in 3 years, I'll still be doing the same thing that I always do, whatever I want, whenever I want at ringside. There's no one that can stop me. Honestly, though, man, I don't know. I'm I'm along for the ride in life, and I want to try to take this as far as I can with it, ride this as far as I can for as long as I can, make a lot of friends in the process, and try to do as much good with that as I can. So I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 years, but hopefully it's still having fun and entertaining people, because at the end of the day, that's what we're there to do.
And I want to give you kudos, man. Just one final thought on your management style here, because as we all know, managers in this business are a lost art, man.
They are. It's hard. It's hard getting booked as a manager a lot of times, but it's once they see what you can do, if you're worth it, you know, I think that turns them around. But thank you. I
Absolutely.
do appreciate that. I try to be different, man. Like anybody can go out there and run and yell and scream and try to be flashy and pull attention, but that's not what it's about. If you're a manager, your job's not to draw attention. It's to get heat and redirect to your guys. You're not the center of attention, but at the same time, I like to coach from the outside. I take a very like MMA coach, cornerman inspired style where I'll call spots out to my guys as I see them coming, even if I know that the baby face is just going to reverse it and make us look stupid. Well, hey, I tried. What do you want me to do? I can't do it for you. I can't get in there and run the spot. But it provides for a lot of fun.
Bonus question here: who's your favorite manager of all time?
Paul Heyman.
Bobby Heenan for
Mm,
me.
Heyman, Heenan, and Classy Freddie Blassie are all tied at the top of my tree. If I have to do a quick answer, it's Heyman. And the reason why is Heyman, okay, maybe I'm speaking a little bit harshly or too quickly on that one. Because Heenan, you're right. Heenan is very much he has every base covered. But there was something about Heyman's way of just the way that he talked, even when you were pissed at him, even when you were hot at whatever he was trying to do, you're like, I hate to admit it, but he's right. Like, even if he's wrong, he's kind of convincing me of it. And damn it, I was mad at him 5 seconds ago, but son of a bitch, he got me again. Like
And
it
he's
was
still
that.
good.
Yeah, exactly. It's that silver tongue, that way of just being able to weave in and out of gaining your trust long enough to scam you into signing over your championship match or things like that. That's something I liked from him. But yeah, man, no, Heenan was the best. He was great.
Absolutely. So where can our listeners find you on social media?
If Twitter will ever unsuspend my account, it got suspended after I got hacked by somebody offering pyramid schemes from wherever. But you can find me on social media at Josh Ashcraft or Josh Ashcraft 86. Um, those are my two handles across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. That's where I'm at.
Well, there you go, folks. Go follow my friend Josh Ashcraft. Go see him on OVW Ohio Valley Wrestling. And thanks for joining us here tonight, Mr. Ashcraft. It was a true pleasure, and we wish you the best of luck in your career.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night, man.
Take care.